Stunning Eala statistics suggest she is more popular than Alcaraz, Sinner, and Djokovic. Eala admitted the reaction she got from supporters in her one and only match at the Australian Open was overwhelming, but no one in tennis was surprised by excitement around her appearance in Melbourne. Eala may have lost her opening match at the Australian Open against Alicia Parks, but the crowds flocking to watch the contest and all her practice sessions leading up to her Melbourne Opener highlighted a reality that she is now one of the most popular players in the women's game. We have seen huge interest on Tennis 365 and stories around Eala since her breakthrough run to the semifinals of last year's WTA 1000 event in Miami, with her win against Iga Swiatek in that memorable week catching the attention of a huge audience. Superstardom was instantly guaranteed back home in the Philippines after her Miami heroics, but that star status has spread around the tennis world, with nearly 850,000 followers on her Instagram account confirming the depth of support for the Filipina player. "It was so heartwarming," Eala said after her defeat against Parks, as she was asked about the interest around her match in Melbourne. "That's one of the things that makes a loss like today a little bit harder. I know a lot of people were rooting for me. It's a process to take it all in. I think this week, definitely there were elements that were a bit overwhelming, especially during my practices. I didn't expect that many people to be there. So it's a learning process. I'm still young, so learning how to deal with all of this attention, but then at the same time being grateful." Another stunning statistic highlighting Eala's popularity has been provided by the Australian Open's YouTube page, as Eala's press conference attracted over 60,000 views, which is considerably more than the press briefings provided by Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Novak Djokovic at this year's tournament in Melbourne. It is another indication of the impact she has made and the fan base she is building up, even though her career is still at a formative phase. Eala has just broken into the top 50 of the WTA rankings, and while she needs to add more elements to her game to compete with the very best on the WTA Tour, but she has the potential to be one of the faces of the WTA Tour for the next decade if she can maintain her momentum. Training at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca has clearly enhanced her progress, and when she spoke to Tennis 365 last year, Eala told us about the journey she has been on since her Miami Open fairy tale. "I think I have done a good job and my team have done a good job of dealing with everything that happened after Miami," said Eala, speaking exclusively to Tennis 365. "So many things changed and my perspective has changed since Miami, but my day-to-day life is the same. I have the same work ethic and the same attention to detail. What happened in Miami was definitely a big surprise for me. It's difficult because I try not to look at it as a big picture thing. As that tournament progressed, I didn't even look at the draw in Miami. I just went match by match because you don't know how far you are going to get, and every round there was another big obstacle. For sure, it gave me a lot of confidence to know that my level is there to play against the top players, but I know there's a lot more for me to do before I can be there consistently." Eala also spoke to us about her support network, as this quietly spoken star confirmed she is eager to stay grounded. "I am lucky that my family played such a big role in my career and they have been so important for me so far," she told us. "They built the structure for me. They built the path I walked on. That was the start I needed to start my career. For me, family is such a crucial part of who I am and from where I come from. We are so family-oriented." Tennis is lucky to have a wonderful role model who will inspire so many young players to pick up a tennis racket, and all in the sort have a duty to ensure Eala is given the best chance possible to reach for her dreams without the burden of pressure and expectation weighing too heavily on her shoulders. The rise of a tennis phoenix. Why Eala's popularity is breaking the mold. Close your eyes and imagine a tennis court under the Australian sun. Not the roar of a mammoth crowd in Rod Laver Arena. Not the clamor for the defending champions or the biggest names in tennis history. Instead, picture Court 6 at Melbourne Park, buzzing not for a Grand Slam favorite but for a 20-year-old from the Philippines making her Grand Slam main draw debut. That walk onto the court. Thunderous. That crowd. Overflowing. That moment. Legendary. Not because she won, but because she captured the imagination of the sporting world. This is Eala, a young tennis talent whose popularity statistics at the 2026 Australian Open suggest something remarkable. For many fans, her presence carries as much allure, in some ways more, than the likes of Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, or even Novak Djokovic. How can this be? Let's unpack the phenomenon. Not just a statistic, an explosion of fan interest. In tennis, greatness is usually measured in Grand Slam titles, ranking points, or serve speeds. But popularity is an altogether different beast, one rooted in emotion, relatability, cultural momentum, community pride, and stories that transcend sport. At the 2026 Australian Open, one statistic caught the eye of tennis insiders around the world. Alex Eala's press conference on the Australian Open's official YouTube channel drew substantially more views than those of Alcaraz, Sinner, and Djokovic. That might sound like a quirky social media footnote, until you realize what it represents. These aren't just numbers. This is fan attention, the most valuable currency in modern sports. The press conference phenomenon, why it matters. Press conference views aren't the same as match viewership. They show direct interest in a player's persona, story, voice, presence. Tennis fans watching a press briefing want connection, not just highlights. And millions watched Eala's. To put it into context, her conference views outpaced Carlos Alcaraz, a multiple Grand Slam champion and global superstar. They eclipsed the attention garnered by Jannik Sinner, one of the top rising stars in the men's game, a Wimbledon and Australian Open title contender. And they surpassed those for Novak Djokovic, one of the greatest players ever. Pause for a moment. It's breathtaking, because popularity at this scale isn't merely about ranking. It's about human resonance. Beyond numbers, what makes Eala a phenomenon? One, she represents a nation's pride. Alex Eala is the first Filipino ever to break into the top 50 of the WTA rankings, peaking at number 49 in January 2026, an unprecedented achievement for the Philippines. In a country where basketball and boxing traditionally dominated the sports spotlight, Eala's rise isn't just athletic, it's cultural. Filipinos across the globe rallied behind her, turning tennis events into celebrations, arenas into sea of support, and social feeds into fan tributes.